Alright, guys, so this was voted upon as another comic book adaptation from everyone on a poll I had on my Patreon. Subscribe to that if you haven't already. Just hit the link below, join there. And this one won by a huge margin. Like, it basically was like, alright, I see where this is going, so I'm just gonna... I'm just gonna go. I'm just gonna go with this. Yeah, so for reference, this story, War of the Realms, beat out by a wide margin, Underworld Unleashed, Invasion, Mutant Massacre, Nightfall. I actually thought Nightfall was going to be the winner. I honestly thought, when I put Nightfall in the polls, I honestly thought Nightfall was going to be the winner of this poll. But no, it was War of the Realms. So the people have spoken, and I shall do a story about War of the Realms. So, anyway, so let's get started with this story. So, this version of War of the Realms, and this cartoon adaptation, is centered around as our big villain, King Hiss from He-Man. So King Hiss and his snake men have basically been like, question, why do we bother with, trying to take Castle Grayskull? Like, we've been at this for how long? Like, how long have we been doing this? It's time to expand the horizons. So, essentially, King Hiss finds like an ancient tome that contains a spell that will bring him to a world that will eventually lead him to great power. And that place is Muni. So the Snake Men are going to King Hiss sends Cobra Khan and Rattler to Muni to snatch the one thing that's going to bring them great conquest, and those are dimensional scissors. Now, the reason why he can only use the spell on instead of going to Earth and not go to Muni is because this was only meant for like a two-way trip for only a small number of people. So King Hiss basically told him, this spell can only send you there and back. Don't fuck up, or don't come back. You may as well stay on that world, because this time I'm playing for keeps. So Cobra Khan gets the dimensional scissors, and from there they return to Eternia and present them with the dimensional scissors, to which Cobra Khan now has access to, King Hiss has access to all the worlds. He has access to so many different worlds, it's not even funny. Like, it's not even like a joke. So King Hiss, along with his Snake Men army, are now like pillaging and plundering across the multiverse. Like, they are just decimating universes. Like, they're going from world to world, just conquering and slaughtering everything in their path. They're also making alliances with other warriors and other armies. Like, they encounter the Septarians from Star vs. the Forces of Evil, and they are like, oh, holy shit, you're related to us, because it turns out that Septarians and Snake Men kind of have like a common ancestor. So the Septarians, instantly hook up with the Snake Men, because they're like, oh shit, you guys are like related to us. Holy crap, we have like a common ancestor. Yeah, let's all get on the King Hiss train. They also unite with. They also travel to Etheria and hook up with Horde members who didn't really like when the Horde basically broke up after the whole thing with Horde Prime. There were members of the Horde who were like, we're not gonna just switch sides and join the princesses. We're just gonna wreck house. Like, we just want to, we were all in on the whole conquering and plundering thing. And when King Hiss shows up, they're like, got it, we're in. Like, we are all in on you. And of course, they travel to Outworld, where Melina, this would be like, if you want to like an exact timeline, this would be like MKX timeline. So in here, Melina is like, I'll help you. I'll give you Tarkatans, and I'll give you Shokan, and I'll give you all that, but you give me an army, and you will help me to put me on the throne. And King Hiss is like, every king needs a queen. So he's obviously just macking on Melina, because he's like, I wish, I'll help you, you know, my dear. So now Melina is King Hiss's unofficial queen, like his bride to be, and it suffices to say that King Hiss's, you know, plundering of the multiverse, of the mystical multiverse, is going about as well as you think, because it's obviously attracting a lot of attention. And there's one world that King Hiss has constantly heard about from all of his travels. Every place he has ever traveled to has always talked about one place in particular. There's always been one place that everywhere he goes, it shows up. Like, no matter where he travels in the universe, there's always like a hint or like a mention of this world, and he just he knows that this is the world to conquer, and that of course is Earth. If King Hiss now believes that if he takes Earth, then he will take the entire multiverse. Now, obviously, as King Hiss and his, you know, his advanced army is gathering to invade Earth, there's obviously people who have kind of picked up that this that this is kind of the plan. Like, obviously, King Hiss has King Hiss has obviously attracted some interesting opposition. Of course, He-Man has discovered this plot, as well as you know, the heroes of Outworld. Adora also finds out, holy shit, there's Snake Men and they're hanging out with the Horde Remnant, and I have a brother? Okay, gotta deal with that later. Right now, King Hiss. The Visionaries also hook up with this resistance, and they discover that, yeah, Earth is the prime target. Earth is, like, King Hiss's prime target. And they all have to get to Earth. So, obviously, they get to Earth, and He-Man and this, like, alliance of, like, the Defenders of Earthrealm and all these other, obviously attract some attention from the heroes there. So, He-Man basically tells the people of the world, like, hey, there's a great enemy from my universe who is coming to your world to pillage and plunder it, and if he takes your world, he'll take all worlds. His name is King Hiss. He's got a massive army behind him, and you should be afraid. So I need able-bodied heroes to help in this battle against King Hiss. So obviously these superheroes of the world unite to combat this coming threat, and boy is it coming, because not only that, like, heroes join up to help He-Man fight help try to stem the tide of King Hiss, but there's also, like, armies, like legit military forces are being mobilized, because obviously this is kind of a global problem. Like, obviously they need to obviously this is going to attract some attention from world leaders. So there's literally a huge global armistice to unite under one banner to fight the coming army that King Hiss is leading. And when he shows up big time, because King Hiss just comes in with a massive army, and heroes and soldiers alike are just fighting their way through all of this, and they are just getting hammered by all these different forces. Like, obviously King Hiss has his Snake Men, but he's now got, like, Tarkatans, he's got Terrans, he's got monsters who are against Muni. And the other thing is, too, like, other forces show up, like the Mumin army shows up to assist in this chaos. There's also the King Andreas hooked up with King Hiss. He's like, we could throw some soldiers your way. So King Hiss has robots. This battle goes insane. Like, it is just complete and total carnage. Until eventually there's this conflict, and even like I wanted to have a fun scene where like where King Hiss approaches Cobra Commander and he's like, "Are we not the same?" And Cobra Commander just goes, "No." he's just like, I don't know where you got the idea, because my name we're called Cobra, but we ain't with you, bitch. The Earth is ours. So toodly fuck off. So obviously by the end of it, King Hiss and his forces are routed and defeated, and Melina essentially also during all this chaos stabs King Hiss in the back, figuratively and literally, and rushes back to Outworld. And yeah, so the army's broken, the day is saved, and yeah. Now, full disclosure, we are doing this in the Infinityverse later on down the road. The Infinityverse being the shared fanfiction universe that my friend Jason Voorhees 2011 and I do together. But this will not be that. Like, this will not be King Hiss invading. This is going to be... Our version is going to be much different. I wanted to do... Obviously, I didn't want to spoil the whole damn story with what we have planned for our future War of the Realms when we get to it, and there's a lot of stories in between then until then. But I thought this would be a fun story to do in its own version. But yeah, if you think like if you're going to do like, oh, now we know what the Infinityverse's version of War of the Realms is going to be, you still don't. So yeah. But you guys tell me in the comments below, what did you guys think of this version of War of the Realms? Did you guys like it, hate it? Comment below, let me know. And as once again, hit the link below to my Patreon and join the discussion there. Anyway, other than that, I'm Mr. Multiverse. I'll see you next time in the Multiverse.